So today I share some fun stencils that give you the layered look without any colouring. Hi there, it's Therese from Lost in Paper, and look at this amazing stencil set from Altenew. It's called the Flower Bunch Simple Layering Stencil Set, and there's 4 pieces in the set. And it's like it says, it's a very simple stencil to use, and I'm going to play with it today and use it for the first time with you. There is a guide on the back to let you know exactly how the layers work, but you can typically hold the stencil over top and work it out, or wing it, I like to say. I decided today that I didn't want to do green leaves because they're overrated, so I decided to do blue leaves just for something different. And I've got the Tranquility inks that I'm using for that, and the Altenew blending brush. This is the large one that I'm using here, and ever since I've got these blending tools, I said brush and I meant tool. Ever since I've got these blending tools, I'm blending all the things. I really am. I don't know if you've been around my blog recently, but everything's getting blended, backgrounds and everything, and I just have never been able to feel comfortable with the way that I've blended in the past. I've found that it's never smooth enough for me, and this is on the Neenah cardstock. So before, for me to get a smooth blend, I had to use the Bristol smooth cardstock for some reason. I think the shiny coat made it easier. Anyway, now what I've done here is grab a couple of the different blues, but then I realized I actually had another layer of the stencil to add. So how I got around that was grab the jet black ink from Altenew, and that just gave it so much more depth. You do need to be aware that when you're blending, that some of these die cuts are very close to each other and close to the edge of the cut within the stencil, and that's why I'm using the post-it notes to protect my work surface, but also to stop me from overblending off the edge of the stencil onto this cardstock, because I've never used this image before. I wanted to offset it on my card, and that's why I've just got a whole piece of Neenah cardstock here. It's the 80 pound, and I figured if I just do the whole stencil there, I can work out where I want it on my card front afterwards. And I'll show you exactly how I work that out in a couple of minutes time. I have also got the small blending tools from Altenew, so they're actually really handy. I tend to just grab the large ones. I don't know why. I find I get a better blend. Maybe it's the arthritis in my fingers. But the small tools work really well as well. And to wash the stencils, I just use a damp cloth, but I am really careful when I'm washing them, because some of those little tiny pieces can easily bend, and you don't want to lose any of those bits. For the yellow portions of this card, I've got the Fall Harvest set, which I think goes just beautifully with the mauve set, which is called Sugar Plums. And when these colours go on, they actually are a lot brighter. As they dry, you'll find that the colour becomes lighter, so it's almost worth going a little bit brighter than you think you're going to need. So today's release, I've made 3 different cards, and on all of those cards I haven't actually done any colouring, but they're all coloured flowered cards, coloured flowers on cards. And no black stamping either, so head over the blog and check it out, because I'm really proud of myself. Floral cards with no colouring and no black stamping. I know. Or embossing. There you go. I have a sentiment that I want to add on one of these apothecary labels, so I've stamped that out in one of the blues, and I'm just using a die cut, like a scrap piece of cardstock, to help me line up where I want the sentiment. Sorry, not the sentiment, where the label, to make sure that the label's lined up correctly before I run it through my die cutting machine. And for the sentiment here, I've got the Simple Greetings die, and I just adhered the word hugs directly to the top of that label. Now here's the trick I was telling you about. I've got a sheet of cardstock that I've die cut. We can just cut it with a blade and a ruler if you want to, but I've cut a window the same size as an A2 card front, and I can pretty much just hover this over my image anywhere and work out exactly where I want to die cut this so it's centered or off-centered exactly how I want. And then I just make a couple of tick marks along two edges of the cardstock, cut them away, and then measure it against my card base. Now I want to take this one step further today, and I've got this awesome 3D embossing folder which is called Modern Squares, and I'm just going to run that through my Gemini. And to do that, you only need to use the 2 plates and the folder, the embossing folder itself, and look at that pressure. There's no room for anything else through that embossing machine. It's just those folders are so thick. So I did actually layer that up on another piece of Neenah cardstock, cut the panel down just a wee bit more, and then I'm popping that up on the front of my card, as well as the sentiment and some jewels. So I will have everything linked in the description below. Don't forget to head to my blog and see my other 2 cards, and also see what other inspiration you can find along this hop. If you liked today's video, please click on the thumbs up button, and if you haven't already, it'd be great if you could subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate every visit you make here. Till next time, happy paper crafting. Bye.